All right, you're live. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming on to the call. I hope everybody had a great weekend. So we're just going to jump into Propel. I'm not super familiar with this Zoom stuff, but I see that we have 10 participants. Can I get like a show of hands of how many people are actually doing the Propel? Julie, Tashina, Jenny, Anthony, Dana. Okay, cool. So probably about half of us. So that's good. We should have some pretty good feedback tonight. And were most of y'all on the call Friday evening? I know Julie missed it. I popped on in the beginning, but then I wasn't able to listen to the whole thing. I know I saw you on there, Tashina and Anthony and Dana. Anybody else able to listen, watch, participate? No. Okay. Well, I'm just going to give my experience so far and then just kind of set the tone, and then whoever wants to volunteer to go next can go next. But this is kind of my second boot camp workbook type thing. I know there's a few out there, and it's kind of hard to sometimes choose which method or plan you want to follow. But I think basically the most important thing is to just choose one and stick to it, right? So we all have to figure out what's best for us. But I really, really like this. So this is Propel. This is what the workbook looks like. They call it a guidebook, but I think it's a workbook because it is extremely detailed and intense. You have several assignments for each part, and it's very, very thorough. It's by Nicole Perez. And each week, Kim sends us videos for each part that we are supposed to watch, just one video per part. And she tries to keep them under 10 minutes long. And she is great. I love her. I think she has a great personality. She's very energetic, and she's jam-packed, full of information, but she gets to the point. She doesn't waste any time. So we are on part 6 today. We should have completed part 6. And so that means part 1, we've done the company, part 2, the experience, part 3, the model, part 4, the why, part 5, the tools, and then part 6, which was today, was the sharing. And I think they're all really, really good. My one bit of feedback, and I'm pretty sure you guys talked about this Friday, was that it's rushed. Like, I feel really rushed. And in order to get the most out of this, I feel like it would be better to do it a little bit slower paced, but very valuable, very informative, but it gets you thinking and really writing out a detailed plan that you have actionables so you can actually do, hold yourself accountable, set deadlines. It's great. But my experience so far, I think what I've mostly been impressed by is how much this book has to do with self-growth, self-work. We're all a work in progress. And she emphasizes that being starting a Young Living business and really being a representative for Young Living will make you a better person. And that is definitely true with me. First of all, our health goals, we are just so much more aware of our body and what it needs. And second of all, the relationships. I have put so much more effort into making friends and keeping up with friends and being a good friend. And I think it's really made me a better person. And it's important that that is authentic. And so it's just, where a lot of times we feel like we're really busy and we don't always keep in touch with our friends, even though we want to. It's really made that a priority for me, and I appreciate that. Also, growth as individuals. Several times so far in these first 6 parts, she's asked us to write down list of podcasts, books, places we want to go, like events and speakers and stuff like that, and mentors, how mentors are so important, and just making us really the best we can be. So reading those kind of books and really keeping up and doing that self-awareness and self-care is really a big part of the business. And then also, like I mentioned, I've just really it's raised my awareness of my body, my digestion, my sleep. When you're more in tune with what's going on, then you can really, use the oils and the products that help. And then you have a story to share that's very personal and passionate. So I think that was the number one thing so far that I have gathered or gained from this in a positive experience. But overall, I think it's a really, really great workbook, just a lot of work. So make sure that if you want to get the most out of it, take time in each section and really, be devoted to it. So who wants to go next? Any questions before I guess I switch it over to the next person for me? Nope. Okay, who's next?
I can talk.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm enjoying Propel too. I would agree as well that I think that I would need a little bit more time. I don't know if maybe even like for each section, maybe a couple days or something like that. But I am like one that like tries to get everything done. I do like that there's a lot of places that really helps you iron out and put like the visualization of things in place, because I do think sometimes I disconnect from that part because I'm very factual. So just actually seeing, what certain things will look like, even little things like when it comes to transfer buying, like what that looks like, because I might understand that because I was at a different place when I got started, right? So like I already was on the journey of like toxic free. I didn't use like, different products like that. So just switching over to thieves and things like that made sense to me. But if I understand how all of that works, I can better help my team, because not everybody is in the same place that I am in on the journey, right? So I have to meet them where they might be starting and help them along on the process. Like not just, I think before I just kind of assumed like, well, yeah, it's healthy, so get everything. Like what, like that's simple, right? And so I do like how there's sections in Propel where it's like specifically like, let's go through the transfer buying. Let's go through, this is what it's going to look like and everything. Did we want to like break down specific sections or just in general?
I think it all kind of depends on our time frame. I mean, we're only 10 minutes in, so I mean, throw a few details out. I think you might have time, but maybe keep it under 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. So I will just jump like to part 3 where it talks a little bit about the model. I do think that this is very, very important too, especially when people are first getting started, because I feel like that's something that gets missed a little bit because we are more of a product-driven business. So I feel like sometimes people, they'll have their parties. It's like, okay, get my oils for free, or, pay for my orders, pay for my ER and things like that. But when it really breaks down that belief in the model system and what multi-level marketing looks like, how it can benefit people, I do think it's really, really important to hone in on that. Again, just talking about myself personally, I already had a belief in multi-level marketing because we were in another multi-level marketing company. I always believed that it was the absolute best system and way of doing things, but that was built from years previously, right? So again, meeting my people where they might be in the beginning, they might not really understand the structure. I think it's easy to fall back on a direct sales mentality, where people start just selling oils and just looking to, I don't want to say cure people, but it's like, my baby can't sleep. Oh, you need peace and calming. Well, let's look at, well, what is your, well, maybe not baby, but let's say little kid. Well, what are they eating, right? Like looking at the whole aspect of the wellness. Again, I liked how in that section under belief and the model, when we understand how it works and how we can really kind of leverage ourselves as well as leverage our people. Once they understand that too, then we stop selling an oil or selling 1 or 2 things, but we really help people appreciate the power of the business and how it works. So that was a section that I really appreciated as well.
So since we're here, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So really
Awesome.
quickly,
That was great. Go for it, Anthony.
So really quickly, I'll just add to it because as a green personality, like I am struggling with the book a little bit, and it's because I think it's part of it is the pacing because we're doing it in a very short amount of time. But it's like I want to research everything, and the book is very thorough actually. So I think one of the things that it does a really really good job at doing is helping a person build value or see the value of what they have from the get-go, because it will like literally break down like seed to seal. Because when you hear people try to explain it that don't actually understand what seed to seal is, like they have you go in depth, like what is Young Living's process from sourcing all the way through testing, so that you can then write down how to answer that question. Because one of the I feel like sometimes one of the roadblocks with this kind of field in this industry is people feel like they need to know everything. So one thing that I feel like Propel does a good job of doing is it gives you a lot of information, and then it helps you to take that and kind of shrink it down so that you're able to share it with individuals in a short little, I hate using this term because it's not my word, but short little bibbit. That's Shannon's thing. Shannon says bibbit. But so that you're not fumbling looking for how to explain this. So I do like that about the book. One of the things that I shared on the call that that really stuck out to me in one of the earlier lessons was like helping a person understand transfer buying early, so that because that's where the longevity of your team comes in, right? So what I think I said this earlier was, what good is it enrolling somebody with just a starter kit if they're not getting on essential rewards? Not saying it's not a good thing that they're getting a starter kit, because it's an excellent place to start, but they need to be on essential rewards. That's how you build the residual income for you and your team. That's how they really benefit from the products that Young Living has to offer. But I feel like sometimes people feel lost because they don't understand, number one, the value of what they have, and number two, that they're not in actuality going to be spending more money. They just need to start to change where they're spending it. So there's actually a website that's listed in there. It's Nicole Perez's website that has like a handout, and it explains exactly like what you should be buying for each and every room in your household. So like in the bathroom, it's got like 10 or 15 items that is like thieves toothbrush, thieves mouthwash, thieves cleaner, things in the kitchen, things that you might use in the bedroom that you're probably already buying anyway, and instead helping you to see that Young Living has products that you can purchase instead and use in place of that. So I really like that because it takes out the sales aspect of getting somebody on essential rewards, because we don't need to push somebody to get on essential rewards. It's like, no, you're currently buying your stuff over here. It's toxic. If you're looking for a non-toxic alternative, here are some of the products to look at. And the best way to purchase them is on essential rewards. It's going to be cheaper, and gradually over time, it's going to become cheaper and cheaper to purchase them. So to me, that really stuck out to me as a simplification of helping to get somebody on ER. But I think it's an excellent system, but it's a system nonetheless. So either way, one advice that I give is find a system that you like, that resonates with you, and stick with it and run.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, Anthony. Thank you, Dana. That was great. Who's next? Anybody? I know that Julie was looking for a replay, and I was too. Somebody else from Friday's call. Like I said, I had jumped on, but I wasn't able to stay for the duration. Is there anybody that would be willing to kind of maybe share a point or two that was valuable?
Well, the replay is going to be up. It's just that Kelly was out of town and Kim had events both Saturday and Sunday. So the replay will be available for sure. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I can share. Yeah, this book has been so painful to me. Like, I can't even explain. Like, it's so difficult for me. Like, workbook doesn't work for me in any way, shape, or form. But I see the value in how everything that it has in it would be very good for a new person to learn, like every step by step for it. And there's a few pages that I've been able to use. Definitely with the pace, like all I'm doing is skimming through in order to get through on the day, and then filling out what I feel like it. So it's not going to be that value added for me, because the pace is just way too much for a person that works 65 hours a week before they even start working Young Living. So it takes an hour or more to get through the sections, and I don't have that every day. But some of the worksheets, like when it tells you to like track your business, because that's one of the things I've heard over and over from corporate, is like sometimes we feel like we're stuck, and we're not as stuck as we are because we got to look at the numbers. And so they had like actually you write out what comes from Oily Tools, and then look at it month over month over month. That's something that I'm going to implement that I think is going to be super valuable. They also had a little section about like reverse engineering your goals. So like, I want to be at this rank 6 months from now. What is my OGV now? Or how many legs do I have right now? And then how many would I need to get there? And what am I going to do per month to get there? So that was a little tool that I thought was super cool. I also, in this current section, really liked the 100 sharing ideas. So some of the things I've done, some of the things I don't think I have done. So that's just like, you know, I know a lot of us are doing weekly or daily lives, right? And sometimes I always try to just make sure I'm pulling something out of, you know, my daily life, but sometimes I do feel a little bit stuck. And I think this is going to be a really valuable list to maybe, okay, this is something that maybe, you know, I need to have this as a reference just to send it to my team in the future. So the 100 sharing ideas list, I think, is pretty cool too.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, you can kind of go through that list and check off what you've already done recently and see what's less. I mean, 100 days, that gets you through, what, 3 months? A little more? So that's great. Okay, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I've done the first 4 chapters, and I'm in the middle of 5. It's so fast-paced. It's really difficult to get through this if you really want to put the time in that, you know, to really grow yourself in understanding and belief and all that. I think the first 4 chapters really are to help build belief in the company. I think I've got that. And so, I mean, I worked it all. I did it all. I read it all. And I thought it was really great information. But I think where I'm getting stuck, I'm not stuck, but on part 5, because I really have to look at myself and my priorities and what I want out of my life from here on in. And I love that the quote they have there right at the beginning of the chapter that says, network marketing is a personal development with a compensation plan. And so I feel that I'm at that point at Silver, and I've been at Silver for 2 years, that from here, the personal development, this plan right here is what I needed most out of it so far. To get to 6, 7, and the rest of it's going to take me a couple weeks. But this section here, I mean, just to do the 1 page and really look back at the 7 priorities and what they are in my life, I find that I don't have any kind of schedule. So it's like, because I don't have children like half of you guys, or, you know, I do have the ministry and stuff that I do, but I work this stuff 24/7. I'm telling you, I eat, drink, sleep it, you know, whatever. And I need to prioritize because it's just way out of hand. And not that my husband ever says a word, because he never does, but I feel it. And I feel it's so unbalanced. And I think that's easy for us to do if we don't prioritize. And so that's where I'm really getting into this book, that chapter 5. And, but otherwise, all the rest of the stuff is excellent information to build your belief in the company, in the products. And then again, as we all know, be a product of the product. You can't sell something that you don't know how it works or how to use it. So, but that's what I got out of it so far. And the model, what Dana said, I thought was really excellent, because people ask us, oh my God, network marketing company, MLM, and immediately we kind of freeze up and we don't know what to say. Well, here it is, right there, part 3, page 31 is so helpful to help you know what to say when people come at you like that, because you do believe it. You believe it's a good model, but to explain it to somebody is a little different. And so I thought that was a really good page too, Dana. But other than that, that's kind of where I'm at, trying to figure out my priorities and setting the rules for myself.
I get you, Julie. I had a really hard time with part 5 too. I like Tashina, I had to skip over and skim a few pieces because, some of this work, it's so in depth that, it takes a lot of really devoted thought, and we just don't have that every day, right? So, okay, who hasn't gone yet?
Jennifer, I know you're doing it.
Go, Jennifer. It's your turn. Tell us what you think. Hit the unmute.
Well, I actually really like the workbook. I like all the stuff in there. I kind of tend to agree that it's really good for someone that's new. That's my friend Autumn was on here briefly, but I saw she already left. So for learning and sharing, but I have to confess too that I'm way behind. I can't. It's too much. I worked all day yesterday, so I missed the call. And then, or not all day yesterday, Friday. And then I worked yesterday too. What is today, Sunday? I don't know. I should have tried to catch up this weekend, but I had to clean and whatnot. So yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I do think it's a really good workbook and really helpful. I just need to have more time to sit down and go through it. I like the worksheets and the different things in it. I find it helpful, but that's me. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I'm probably more on 4, so I need to do 5 still. And then I know she just posted the thing for 6 today, and I'm so I'm behind, but I do like it. So.
Yeah, it's super fast. I don't think anybody's really staying on track, but it's at least our minds are in the right place.
It's a lot.
We're trying, right? But yeah, this SMART goals, where she talks about a simple goal and then a SMART goal, how you can, it has measurables and all of that. That page alone in part 5, I'll be honest, I didn't do it because, it's just really difficult to do. So anyway, is that everybody who's doing the training? Anybody else left? I think that's it, right? So I guess for those of us who were not on the Friday's call, we can look for that replay. Other than that, I know you guys normally go over events, but we have quite a bit of time left if anybody else has anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Karen, are you available? I think Karen might have been going through it with some of her team.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here. I started it, and it is a lot of work. But here's my thought behind that, right? It's a 10-day thing, right? So if I wanted to get through a whole lot of stuff in a short amount of time, this is a great thing that we could sit down and focus on, right? So, but sitting down and focusing on it might be a problem for me. But if you preface it, and I think honestly, if I could go back and prep myself and as well as some other people, they said about an hour a day. It's not an hour a day. It's a little bit more than that, at least for me, because you got to really sit and think about it, right? So I think it's all in what you set up for the expectations, that how well it's going to be received, right? So if I was to go back and say, hey, you know what, guys, it's going to be 2 hours a day, and you're really going to have to sit and think through some things. That's where the 2 hours come in. An hour of reading a day, or an hour of reading or an hour of writing down things, yes, but it's the thought process that's going to, that you're going to need to prepare for it, which I was totally and completely not prepared for it. So, because again, it's a lot of work. So I like the videos. I like the text messages and reminders. I think that's great. But again, I think the preface, like if I do this with my team again, I think I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're prepped more, because that's what I'm hearing right now from some of the people that are on this call, that they're just saying it's a lot more work than what they anticipated. So that's the only thing I have. And yeah.
Great, thanks. I agree.
Somebody said something about getting, finding which plan or what program or whatever that you like best and stick with it. But I'm not sure I totally agree with that. Everybody's got their way of doing things. Because when we went through game plan, Leanna, and then you broke it down, I went through it. I did game plan 25 days straight. It was every single day, and I busted my butt to do it, but I was on vacation, so it was something I could do. But I know most people can't do that. So you took it and you broke it down, and you did your own videos for the team and did it weekly, 2 chapters a week. And I thought that was brilliant on your part to do what your team needed rather than just go with the flow. But as far as picking or choosing, I mean, I really do enjoy working this workbook, and I hate this kind of stuff. But I also loved game plan very much. That girl, just the way she got a little preachy, and she got a little outside of my comfort zone in some of the days. But other than that, I felt obligated to do what she told me to do. I felt motivated by her and inspired by her to do so as far as picking one or the other, I like this because I can kind of just sit here on my own, watch a 9-minute video and really fill out the stuff. Although I'm telling you, it's hard for me when it comes to like knowing myself, like that visualization thing that we were talking about earlier, Leanna. It was hard for me to figure that stuff out. What is my vision? I know what it is, but to put it in words, to hear myself, it's tough. And so that right there, that page took me over an hour, just trying to figure out what words that I really do want to live by. And, but I think it's all really, really good stuff. There was one more thing. I forget what it is. I passed it while you guys were talking, but oh well. So I think that all the different things have different positive things for people to grow by. It's just finding what you like. And since I've done both, I mean, I really find them both very helpful. It just, one may be a little better than another, or, my cup of tea maybe, but I love going through this one too. So I think, if somebody, I would just have to feel the person out or the people out on the team to see if I was going to run my own thing or something, or who would benefit the best from which one. But you've done them both now too, Leanna, so you can, you could do that for your own.
But I think, like you said, I think each plan has it, and I'm sure there's more out there, has good and bad things about them. Not necessarily bad, but things that work really well for certain people. And so, I mean, really, honestly, it's just, when I did game plan, it was a year ago. So it was time for me to do something a little bit different and kind of get jump started and motivated. And I know, like you all were saying, the first 4 parts were really about the belief, but there were bits and pieces there that I learned. I haven't been doing this very long, so I guess I'm one of the newbies, and I really found it to be valuable. So I think as long as we are putting time and effort forth, no matter what direction we choose, it's good.
Leanna, can I talk a little? Can I talk a little bit more about other stuff that I liked in it?
Please do.
So I did want to just talk about, because I do think this is important too. In part 4, the why section, there was a section that talked about 4 road bumps you may face along the way. I liked, it said under excuses can be endless. When we look for excuses, we will find them because they're never hard to find, and we all have them. At the root of excuses are undealt with fears. Truth is the only response to fear. So I thought this was really powerful too, because especially as I'm growing and I'm getting more of my team members active and doing certain things, a lot of times I hear certain things that maybe I felt at one time too. And so I thought this was a really, really good one, because not only does it have the section that says the excuses, but then it has the antidotes to those excuses. Yeah. So I think that this is one that, at least for me, that like I would like to have a copy of, I need to go back to, because it's easy for me to kind of get back in my own head when I have no show classes, or if like, I'm sorry, and then two, there was one that we talked about in two, our ego, and one of them, it talked about our downlines. Well, sometimes we feel like our downlines don't listen to us. So I know I was at a point, okay, so with, many people know my personality, I'm pretty equally yellow-green. And I have quite a few reds on my team. And so for me, I liked how it was like, if your ego is unchecked, so it's talking to me, like, because there's times where I'm like, well, my downline just doesn't listen to me. I'm like, you just need to have classes and you just need to talk to people. And it's like, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this. And then, me, I'm like, okay, well, how can I help you? How can I make it supportive, or whatnot? But again, I like how it had the antidotes. So it's like, it's not about you. Take it away from yourself. It's not a personal thing. Here's the antidote for each one of those scenarios or issues. So I think both of those pages for me, I'm like, I need to copy this. I need to paste this somewhere so I can reference them and go back. Because the reality is, with this type of business, you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have your days where you're like on fire. You're like, I've been signing up people, go me. And then you're going to have your days where nobody responds to you. Not your team, not your upline, downline, not, all these people, they were going to get their kits, and then all of a sudden their car breaks down and their dog needs surgery all of a sudden, like whatever. So I just thought that was like really, really helpful too. And it's important to really help our new people understand that, so they don't get discouraged, so they don't fall off, and not keep going. So I thought that was a really cool point too, that at least we've gone through so far in Propel.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just wanted to add, I think one of the just most important parts, someone mentioned how they enjoy the text messages, and we had that Zoom call. We're going to have another Zoom call. I think at the end of the day, the boot camp style is the most important part. Like, you get more value when you're doing it with a group, when you're getting some type of actionables or homework, or however you want to relay it. And so I think that going forward is the most important thing. When we did our Vital 180 boot camp, we saw so much growth in the team. We saw individuals doing a lot more classes during that, because there was an actionable to do. And I don't know, Carrie, if you want to just chime in some of the things that you enjoy. So Carrie's not doing Propel because we're currently creating our own Spanish boot camp right now. So I don't know if there's anything that, from the topics that we have discussed here, like Carrie, you just want to share your perspective of like boot camps in generals that might go along with the discussion. You there, Carrie? Sometimes her internet is glitchy. Okay. All right. Maybe not.
All right. Thanks, Tashina. Okay, anybody else? All right.
I guess it looks like Brianna and Sonia have the book as well.
Okay.
Did either of you guys want to share?
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
We hear
Hi.
you.
Uh, am I being heard? Oh, okay. Okay. This is Sonia. I enjoyed all the expressions on the workbook. I just got the workbook. I have not, as some of my team members would not be surprised, I have not opened the book yet. Me and my one of my friends in my downline, we are trying to schedule some time for tomorrow evening to get into the book. So, but I'm still excited about it. It sounds like it's a lot of work, but I'm still excited about it because I do need some structure, and it sounds like the structure is there. So I'm excited about the book. That's about all I can contribute because, like I said, I haven't looked into the book yet, but hopefully I'll have something to share next time.
That's great. I'm sure you're going to love it. And if nothing else, creating excitement is good enough.
Rihanna, you had came off mute. Did you want to share? Okay, maybe she's happy. Rihanna, are you available? I just see your phone go on mute, off mute, on mute, off mute. Okay, maybe she's having technical difficulties. I'm not sure.
Okay. I saw what you saw too. Like right now she's off mute. If you want to talk, we could probably hear you. Okay. Moving along. Does anybody have any other valuable points they'd like to share with the group? I did have one question. Maybe you guys had the answer. In part 2, you had to go to her website and download 2 free worksheets, and then one of them cost $2. And I didn't do it because of that. Did anybody see that, or did I miss it? I think it was the I can't remember right now which worksheet it was. But did anybody have to pay for a worksheet?
So it's weird. The way that it's set up is even the free ones, like you still have to enter your payment information, and then it gives you like the actual download. But I didn't see there being a cost for it. There was like a whole free section. I didn't see there being a cost. But you do have to enter your payment information even for the free ones. And like the shipping information.
I did do that for 2 of them, but then I thought that there was one I couldn't find. But maybe it was maybe I ended up seeing it in the book. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, cool. I think that's it.
All righty, we want to go to upcoming events.
That sounds great.
So Tuesday night, I have a Spanish one-on-one class, just a normal essential oil one-on-one class Tuesday. So that's because we just had our rally. We had a lot of individuals that were at our Spanish rally. That's a follow-up. So if you have any prospects or individuals that need that information, then it's a public Facebook class open to all. And then Dana and Anthony, you guys got stuff going on?
No. This was today actually was my last thing I did for today. I had a few team members come get scanned with ITOVs. And then Rihanna signed somebody up today. Her mommy got her kid today.
Saw that. Congratulations. Don't you have a book launch coming up? Like, I need the invite to that yesterday.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Saturday, February 9th. We're doing the book launch at Merriweather's in Southfield at 2:30. So
30?
yeah. But it will run for a little while. So if you
Okay.
can, by all means, if you're in the area and would like to stop by and join us, we're going to do live.
What's a little while? I usually get out of service at 5:30.
Oh.
I'm flying out to Mexico again the next day. I need my time.
Oh. Yeah, you might have to come get a doggy bag. Yeah, I think we're doing lunch though. I know that for sure.
Oh, it's a lunch. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just add, Rihanna said she was trying to talk, but it wasn't working. And so she wanted to add that it's very fast paced, but she's very excited. I think it's great for someone just getting involved in the company. Gets me excited about the opportunities and possibilities.
Nice. Then
I wanted to say, when we go to North Carolina, I know you guys got some team members there, and I think they're a few hours away, but it might be worth their travel. I forget the dates. I think they're the 9th through the 11th on Friday. We're having a 101 class. On Saturday, we're having a homemade, the makeup line out and makeup class. Sunday, we're having the butt and gut class. And then Monday, we're having a leadership gathering for anybody who's down there, that's trying to work the business. So I thought I'd throw that out there, Leanna. You're working so hard to put it all together. You and Jana.
Yeah, sounds good. Everybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome. Y'all
Where
come
at in
see
North
us.
Carolina?
I live in Supply, which is about halfway between Wilmington and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So it's actually pretty close to the South Carolina border, but it's right on the coast.
So Durham is like an hour and a half away?
No, actually, I was born in Durham, so I don't know who you know in Durham, but it's about 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah, my cousin's in Durham.
I think we may have talked about that when there was a rally. You guys had a rally out that way, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll make them aware.
Yeah, invite them. It'll be fun. So it's going to be Friday, which is, I think, the 8th. Yeah, February 8th. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
And then February 24th is our monthly spa party. And March we'll be going back to making sure we have our monthly Tuesday night informational calls. Plus we have a bunch of Facebook classes on supplements out there too. So that's open to everybody. I got to stop traveling. I'm going back to Mexico for 2 weeks again. So. But,
could you send me an invite on Facebook to the Spanish 101?
Yep.
And then maybe I could send it out to some of my family.
Yep. Definitely. And then Karen, I know you had plans eventually to have something, I think, in like Brighton or Highland. Do you have anything set up in the next couple months yet?
Karen had to hop off.
Okay. All right. Alrighty. I think that might be it then.
Okay, sounds good. Anybody have anything else? I'm good to go.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Alana. You did excellent.
And